Hey guys, how's it going? It's Jewel Tolentino here. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 10 types of items that you can find in your home to sell on Craigslist now. So I myself have made over $7,000 selling all sorts of things on Craigslist. And I'm going to list out my 10 items that you can find in your home that you can list right now. And I guarantee that you have at least one of these things in your home that you can list right now. So let's get into the list. Now, when I sell on Craigslist, my rule of thumb is if I haven't touched it in over a year and it's collecting dust and I'm honestly not going to use it anymore, I'm going to sell it because I have no use for it anymore. And these days I'm more about collecting memories and GoProing my adventures and just creating videos than collecting a whole bunch of stuff, because I used to collect a lot of stuff. Okay, so the first type of item that you can find in your home to sell is sports equipment. So really any kind of sports equipment. So I've sold snowboards, snow jackets, snow pants, running shoes, bikes, anything in the sports category. Definitely list on Craigslist. So the second type of item is digital cameras. So I've sold a bunch of different kinds of digital cameras, and they range in price obviously from different models. As long as it's working, listed on Craigslist, you'll get something for it. And these days I don't use digital cameras. I don't know about you, I use my cell phone all the time, so I don't have any need for digital cameras, so I sold all of them. Number 3, the third type of item to sell are tools. So any kind of tools, electric tools, power tools, any kind of tools. Honestly, my dad gave me a bunch of things that he didn't use from his tool shed anymore. I didn't know what they did, but I just did a little bit of research, found out what they were, listed them, did a little bit of a description, and they all sold. I even got like a paint sprayer that was over 10 years old for $100, and honestly I thought the thing was a piece of junk. Alright, so number 4 is appliances. So any kind of appliances, blenders, microwaves, bread makers, hand blenders, anything to do with that category in the kitchen. 5, so VCR and DVD players. So the thing about VCR players right now is that, you know how we started off with VCR players and then it went to CDs and then Blu-ray and then now everything is streaming Netflix, right? So with VCRs, everyone's kind of going vintage again, and whenever I list a VCR player, I can get it for $20 to $30, sometimes $40, depending on the brand and model of the VCR player. It's also a bonus if you have any VHS tapes, VHS movies to go along with the VCR player. 6, old computers. So I've sold a bunch of old computers that I'm not using anymore. So as you know, technology moves very fast, so computers, when it's 2 or 3 years old, you need to get a new one. It's already out of date and you need the latest new software and whatever. So I sell all my old computers. Make sure that you do clear the memory and you do clear it out before you sell it. I've actually also sold broken computers, so my screen was bleeding, like the ink was completely messed up and you couldn't even see anything on the screen. I still sold that for $40. Number 7 is printers. So printers, people are always looking for a deal on printers. Every time I list a printer, people are always asking me about it. And make sure when you list printers that you state that if it has ink. If it doesn't have ink, people are less likely to pay, you know, top Craigslist dollar for it. But if you have ink and it works and you have the cords or CDs in the box, it makes it more desirable for the person. So make sure you put that in the description because people will always be asking you about that. Number 8, so toys, any kind of toys, make sure you clean them and make them usable for another child. Toys go really well on Craigslist. Parents are always looking for a deal for their kids to get some toys. 9, vintage items. So honestly, I didn't even know what it was, but it was a Toshiba like wooden receiver. I don't even know what they do, but I just knew that it was like big and clunky and heavy, and it had been sitting in my dad's office room for the longest time. I would always stare at that thing, and one day I just grabbed it and I asked him if I could sell it, and this thing was heavy. It was so heavy, and honestly, I didn't think I could get very much for it. But I ended up getting $100 for this thing that I had no idea what it was used for. It was used in the 70s and 80s. Other vintagey type stuff are cassette tapes, cassette tape players, you know, when those Walkmans, like back when we had Walkmans and you put the headphones on and then you had to play it and you press rewind and it took forever and you had to like memorize how long the rewind was so that if you wanted to replay your song, things like that. Vintage items go really well on Craigslist. And number 10 is sell other people's stuff. So what do I mean by that? Well, when I first started selling on Craigslist, I started gathering all the stuff in my home and I just started selling it. And people started to notice. People started to notice that I was selling things that were considered to be crap and I was getting money for it. And people would ask me, hey, can you do this for my stuff? So I would do a deal with my friends and family where I would get between 15 to 20 and sometimes even 50% of the item sale that I did for them. A lot of them just wanted to get rid of crap in their home and get some money in exchange. So that is a neat way to also make money on Craigslist on stuff that isn't yours. I sold an exercise unit for $250 and got 30% commission off that. I've sold loads and loads of stuff, furniture, printers for people. They just don't have the time or don't have the knowledge to sell on Craigslist and they'd rather have me do it. So there you have it. That is my top 10 types of things to sell on Craigslist that you can find in your home and sell right now. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Back from the dead.